Alright, there it goes. What the fuck is up, y'all? It's Crazy McKormik up in this motherfucking bitch. And I've been seeing a lot of people in the Juggalo community talking about this situation. It's been one hell of a fucked up week for a lot of us here in the YouTube Juggalo community. But I felt like this was the one thing that we really need to fucking talk about. And in this case, it's the video that Monoxide put up apologizing. He didn't like do it like where it was like a standalone thing. He was in the middle of a live stream. I guess he was just interacting with the chat, and he apologized about not going to the march. And I just wanted to go through some of the things and events that happened when we found out about that shit. And so, like, I decided to go into my own catalog, and I found the video that I made when I heard the news about Twiztid not coming to the march. I remember in this video, I was very exacerbated and very upset. It was like complete raw emotion when I made this video.
Alright, let me see if I can get this correct. When you needed help, Twiztid, Violent J and Shaggy were there to help you out. You fucking left your label that was holding House of Kreyz. You toured with ICP. They signed you. You became their proteges.
I messed that up.
They taught you everything you know about the fucking music business. We, the Juggalos, ended up embracing you to become what you are now. For 20 years, we have been buying your merchandise, buying your music, supporting you, showing love any which way that we possibly can show love to you too. And now the chips are down, and the Juggalo community is considered a gang, to a point where Insane Clown Posse and Psychopathic Records decided that they were going to do a march, that they were going to fight this FBI bullshit. What did you end up doing in return? What is it that you guys ended up doing? You bounced out at the most improbable time that you possibly could find. Create your own fucking label, which most of us continue to still support.
Which I did have a video on a different channel basically talking about how cool I thought it was, because it's like we have two camps of wicked shit rappers in this Juggalo scene, which I said that in that video, but like I didn't count RLP, but they never sign anybody, but that's beside the point. And I was actually showing that I was elated about that factor. And so when this news came around, I was visibly upset, as you can tell.
Thinking that it had nothing to do with this bullshit with the FBI and all of this other crap. And we continue to support you. But when the chips become down, and it's the year 2017, the year that we're going to be doing the Juggalo March, you are asked to do a free concert to show love and support to us. And what is it exactly that you ended up doing? You fucking ducked out like you were Mayweather.
I was making a fucking reference to the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, even though they did eventually fight, and I thought that fucking fight was bullshit.
You fucking ducked out like you were being faced by Manny Pacquiao. Now what the fuck kind of love and support is that shit? I don't give a fuck what your reasons for it are. If you truly loved and supported the Juggalo family, like you said that you do, then any and all fucking aspects of life mean nothing in comparison to how much love and support that you give the Juggalo community. Just as much as we've given you.
I mean, basically, I'm right in this one. Like, how many times have juggalos across the fucking country, if not the world, have heard Jamie and Paul fucking flat out say, "We love every single one of you motherfuckos and motherfuckettes. If there's anything that you need, like," and I'm sure they pretty much meant like big shit, you know, like big shit, you know, like you need, call on us, we'll be there for you. And we did exactly that at the fucking, you know, announcement of the Juggalo March. It's like, it would be wrong for Twiztid not to be there. And Twiztid ended up fucking declining.
But now it really shows that you have turned your back on us. You have no respect for us. The only respect that you have is whether or not we've got a wallet full of cards. If we've got a wallet full of money. That's all you're concerned about now.
And the reason why I said that, and they actually kind of proved me right with dishwashing detergent with their face on it, Twiztid sodas, fucking anytime that there was a huge celebrity like Gene Wilder that passed away, they came out with a t-shirt, and then they, you know, and then we called them out on that shit, and they were like, no, you don't understand, we're commemorating them. Fucking Juggalo farm type shit. My friends, this shirt isn't made so that way we can profit off of it. We're giving it out to the Juggalos to show that we love this person, and the shirt is selling to commemorate them. That's basically how it came off.
And a lot of people are starting to see that shit.
And people kind of still continued to do so.
That is discerning, and that is absolutely a fucking slap in the face to any and all juggalos who have in the past, present, or possible future support you. Now, Violent J and Shaggy have said that if you know, any and all people who decline, we respect your decision to do that. Not me. Because I'm looking at it from a logical standpoint.
Now, okay, I think I've had enough with this fucking portion of the video. You can obviously, I think I've made my point with this one. But you go along the lines of how things went since then. This created a huge Juggalo divide in the fucking, you know, in the Juggalo-verse. Like, there was a very huge divide in the Juggalo community. You had people who were siding with ICP. You had people who were siding with Majik Ninja Entertainment. And you also had people that were saying that they don't choose sides for their own fucking reasons. Most of the time that they were saying that they don't choose sides, though, it would be fairly obvious that they have already chosen a side, because the no sides people would have like fucking Twiztid shit slathered all over their Facebook wall, all of them fucking wearing Twiztid merchandise, things of that nature. And there was a big, huge, like I said, you know, it was a huge fucking divide in the Juggalo community. You had ninjas who would go see Twiztid, and like for VIP and shit like that. There's this one audio clip that was floating around that was accidentally recorded, I guess, but it was Jamie Madrox basically talking shit on the Supervillains project that ICP, Isham, and Lavelle did, where they had untitled tracks. Like, they had unreleased tracks that, after a fucking fallout between ICP and Isham released these tracks, and it was like them killing gay people in the fucking tracks. And Jamie was trying to play the fucking ally card for the LGBTQ community, like trying to say, I never heard this track, I never heard about this song until a couple of days ago, to the homie. when it was fairly obvious that at the opening of the track, it's Monoxide doing a very, very fucking stereotypically gay voice, very gay diva voice, and fucking he ends up getting killed, and then the song kicks in. Your partner in rhyme is on the track, and you didn't know about this for how long? You know, and then on top of that, there was like the thing with Twiztid and Child's Play Ninja. Um, just a whole bunch of different fucking shit. A lot of people were disagreeing with Twiztid on a lot of fucking things. Now, before I continue on, I do want to say this, though. The people out there who try to use the "it's just music" kind of fucking play, the reason why that there were so many people that were shocked about all of this stuff is because it is more than just music to them. You can go and see whatever fucking concert you want to fucking see, but if you haven't figured it out yet, the Juggalo community is very, very much of a cult-like fan base. We talk to each other, we know each other, we know each other's business, we talk to each other about family lives and stuff like that. You tell me what other band you can go see to where after the show you can just randomly fucking start talking to somebody about your personal life. Tell me what other bands that you could possibly go see and then talk to them about your personal life and they get invested into what it is that's going on in your personal life. Can you tell me that? Because I listen to a lot of fucking music, and a vast majority of those artists don't even come off as if they give a shit. Twiztid did at one point, and for a long time, for the last 6 years, they have shown the complete opposite. They have kicked motherfuckers out for chanting ICP or wearing ICP merchandise in their shows. They have hired people on their, they have signed people on their label who basically fucking just run fucking miles, talk miles of shit to the fans. I mean, if you really just think that it's just music to us or even to them, do you really think that with everything that had gone on over the last 6 years, do you think these guys would be kicking people out of their fucking shows, talking about Twiztid? Do you really think that Twiztid would be kicking people out of their fucking shows for wearing ICP merchandise or for saying something out loud about ICP or chanting ICP and having them hear it while you're on stage and they just completely stop the show? Is it just music to them? It's not just music to us. These guys created music that we can resonate to. Something that we actually have a fucking we don't look at the surface of the lyrics. It's fairly obvious to a lot of people in the Juggalo community that there's an underlying theme behind what is being placed in the fucking music. And that's why it's more than just music. If you come at me with that "it's just music" shit, I don't even want to look at you and think that you're a fucking Juggalo. And I'm just saying that. Now, let's get on with what it is that we're talking about. So 6 years of just non-stop shit and the fans fighting amongst each other and these two camps butting heads. Now, in that video that I showed you, I announced that I was no longer, under any circumstances, going to be purchasing any fucking merchandise from not just Twiztid, but Majik Ninja as a whole. Because if these guys are CEOs of Majik Ninja Entertainment, then they get a little piece of whatever fucking pie comes through the way of Majik Ninja Entertainment. If Blaze sells a record, they get a chunk of it. If Gmo Ski sells an album, they get a chunk of it. If they sell an album, they get the royalties and a chunk of what else is supposed to go outside the company. They get a larger fucking build than that. As much as it pained me, because I love listening to Blazy Dead Homie. I love his gimmick and I love his style. I love his cadence. And I think that he's one of the fucking best of the, of the original group. Of the original fucking, signees of Psychopathic. I listen to him a lot more than I listen to ICP. And he has a very small catalog that is dwarfed in comparison to ICP, and I still listen to Blaze more. I stopped listening to Blaze after Casket Factory. I have not, it pains me physically to listen to Twiztid at this point in time. Because anytime that I hear them fucking talk about how much love they have for the Juggalo community, it legitimately fucking hurts because I know it's a lie. I can't listen to Dark Lotus the same way. I can't listen to Psychopathic Ridas the same way. I can't listen to anything that Jamie and Paul are a part of anymore because of how much it hurt. To have them fucking basically backstab the Juggalo community going to the march and basically saying that, yeah, we'll be at Juggalo Day, we'll be at the gathering and shit like that, because that's when they get their money. Violent J ends up doing a 2-hour tell-all talking about a lot of the shit that Jamie and Paul were doing behind the fucking scenes. Basically trying to rebuild their Twiztid catalog for Magic Ninja Entertainment by basically blackmailing Psychopathic Records in exchange for fucking royalties instead of payments. Or not royalties, but masters of their albums. In return, they wanted to, in return for fucking performing. So anytime that Twiztid performed at some given point in time, they wanted a fucking master of one of their albums. And for a while, Jay did it. Not, as a business, that's something that you don't want to do. But he did it because he wanted to make sure that the Juggalo family was secure. Because he didn't want this inner beefing. He didn't want this inner fighting. He could already see between the lines of what would happen if ICP and Twiztid were fucking beefing. They, and they took advantage of it. So here we are now, 6 years later, with all the fucking bullshit. All of a sudden, this fucking video goes circulating. This fucking video starts circulating around the Juggosphere. And people were fucking, I've seen people fucking talking about this shit. Toxic Plague Entertainment and fucking DC Fago guy, Bartle Boss and the Dead guy, and a couple of other people that have been talking about this. And I haven't seen Child's Play Ninja, unfortunately, but there's reasons. But still, it's just listen to this shit, even though you already have, because this is now my opinion of this whole thing.
Juggalos, Juggalettes, ninjas, and ninjas. I ain't thinking about that shit. Just how motherfuckers are mad at us and shit. I know a lot of that shit stems from the march.
Yeah.
And real shit at this point, just reflecting on it, at the end of the day, and this is just me, this isn't anybody else. I shouldn't even be talking about no shit like this, but I think in 2020, as hindsight, we should have been there for nothing else but for you, regardless of what it was. It was something that you guys wanted us to be there, and we let all this other shit get in the way.
Well, gee, where does that sound familiar, Paul? I think I said this about 6 years ago.
Of whatever the fuck it is. And at the end of the day, we fucking let you down. Because we should have seen through it and just been there. And I apologize.
It even got to a point where, somewhere between the time that I made that video and the time that the march happened, and I talked to some juggalos while I was at the march, I'm like, You know, to be perfectly honest, I don't even give a shit if Twiztid performed or not. Just to stand in that line, in that, you know, and march with us, with their fists in the air. I mean, Jamie Madrox would have a fucking hamburger in the air, you know, because Fat Kid Love. Like, I don't care. Fucking, they didn't have to perform. They just had to be there. And I understand that there were a lot of people that didn't show up because they weren't getting paid, or they weren't going to be able to sell merchandise of them and shit like that. Like, there was going to be no fucking money involved. Like, what those people, like, it's understandable that you know, I guess to an extent, I should say, that it is kind of understandable that a lot of these people did not fucking go and do the damn thing with us because there was no money involved. But at the same time, it's like, you know, we support you either fucking way. A lot of this stuff, I have to say, feels more along the lines of short-term thinking. They weren't thinking in the long run. If you showed support to the Juggalos, then I can guarantee you that in the long run, you would make more money than you are making now, unless you're not on some weird-ass fuck shit. And the only person outside of Psychopathic, outside of Magic Ninja, outside of fucking RLP and LSP and a lot of these other big name labels, and, you know, like, I don't mean this offensively, but second tier Juggalo rappers. The only person that actually showed up and performed was Buckshot. I do remember seeing Daddy Longlegs up on the stage talking about, you know, like, I don't think he talked about shit. KG was there. I saw, you know, like, there were quite a few people that were there, but the only one that showed up and performed was Buckshot. And it was, you know, and I still see it to this day that a lot of people that watch my shit will go into the fucking chat and try to say that the Juggalo March didn't mean anything to them. Well, yeah, I didn't see you at all, but you weren't there, and you didn't see this shit happening. You weren't there to see all of the fucking cameras and all of the fucking people getting interviewed. I talked to people on the way to the fucking reflecting pool, discussing the shit over the, like, standing right next to the fucking Washington Monument. I talked to for 20 minutes to this old lady talking about the shit, and she was aghast at the things that I was saying. I know motherfuckers in this Juggalo world that have been affected because of the FBI claim. I was fucking picked by it too. Both me and Guido, on the way to the very same gathering that they announced that they were going to fucking sue the FBI back in 2012. So you can't tell me that ever since then, ever since the fucking march happened, that nothing came about it. There was actually quite a few things that did come about it. A lot of Juggalos have been left alone. Now it's to a point where all the cops around the fucking world that are fucking looking at, you know, like, it's slimmed down to basically nothing. I do not hear anything in the Juggalo world about cops harassing Juggalos just because they have a fucking sticker on their car, or because of the clothes they wear, or the tattoos that they have. Like, because of what happened with the Juggalo March, things are a lot easier now with the Juggalos. Juggalos are able to get back into fucking doing their jobs and not getting fired just because of a fucking tattoo. You know, like, Juggalos are now being left alone. But continuing with this video.
From Paul Metric to every one of you that felt a certain way about that. You know what I mean? No bullshit.
That's sus. He's drinking Coca-Cola.
I said I would never talk about it again, but it's just been on my mind lately, and I just want to say that. or whatever it was.
I've never
Doesn't
seen
matter.
anybody smoke a
You
joint
guys
like
wanted us
that.
there. You needed us there.
Yeah.
And we let whatever interfere with that. And I apologize.
I can tell you exactly what that is. It's called George Villakis.
I apologize for that. It took a while maybe for me to see what that was, but I do. And I hope we can move past it.
Okay, so I think that's as far as I really need to go. Maybe a little bit more. But this is something that I have said over the last 6 years. I'm sure that there are juggalos out there who have actually heard me say this. Is that eventually they are going to, like, one of them is going to absolutely hate themselves and regret the fact that they missed out on this, because people like myself who decided that they weren't going to support them anymore, in the long run, it's going to hurt Magic Ninja Entertainment, because they're not making as much money. Like, literally, I think the only people that are actually continuing to support Twiztid as of this point are the 100% Twizzlers and the fucking It's Just Music people. And from what I see, what I have seen and what I continue to see over the last few years, there's more people supporting ICP than the Twizzler side and It's Just Music people combined. You get a gathering of the Juggalos that has like at least fucking 3, 4, 5,000 fucking people in attendance, and then you've got Attack of the Ninjas that has like 300 people in a fucking bar. Sure, you know, there are some people who are going to be like, oh yeah, I like it because it's a little bit more intimate. No, it's like Attack of the Ninjas is supposed to be like a big thing, and it's in a fucking podunk barn. So, like, you can't even compare the two anymore. And I'm not saying this to fucking be a dick. I'm actually saying this because it's fucking facts.
But that's not what it means. It's not about who's in the right or who's in the wrong or what we thought it was. At the end of the day, you guys wanted us somewhere, and we weren't.
Yeah.
And I apologize for that. And that'll never happen again. You know what I mean?
So, after this video came out, there have been a lot of people. It's legitimately been equal sides of people saying that they feel like this apology is legitimate, and there are some people who think that, oh, it's because they're running out of money, so they got to suck our dicks again in order to fucking get more juggalos on their side in order to fucking make ends meet. Here's my thoughts on this. I personally think that this is legitimate. And this is something that I have been saying for a while. I believe even in that video, what I feel that is needed in order for things to start turning around is for at least one of them to make a public fucking apology to the Juggalo community for missing the march. They need to realize that they fucked up, and they need to apologize. Once I feel like that's a more sincere thing, then we can start mending the fences. I still stand true to that today. There's going to be a lot of juggalos out there who have been like, you know, that are going to be like, well, you know, you've been on YouTube for this length of period of time on the fuck Twiztid tip, and now you're not. Yeah, as long as fucking Twiztid is saying fuck the juggalos, I'm saying, well, fuck you back. But this is not a fuck you. This to me seems very fucking legit. That he is incredibly fucking sorry about what he did. That's all I wanted. After the march, this is all I wanted. Now, unfortunately, it took 5.5 years for it to finally come out of one of their mouths. And ever since then, they've been going downhill with fuck you after fuck you after fuck you. to the Juggalo community. And some of you guys are not going to agree with me. I understand that. You know, I completely understand that. But it's going to take a very long time. Probably about an equal amount of fucking time of them basically showing us what they mean in all seriousness when they say that they are sorry. I mean, if Paul feels the same way, I hope that Jamie and George fucking sit down and talk about the shit and they actually show legitimate apologetics. I really want them to fucking do that. Will that happen? I don't know. I can't tell you. Time will tell. But this is a stepping stone to me. To apologize to the Juggalos, at least one of them actually showing a little modicum of empathy towards what we went through from 2004 all the way to 2017. Because for 13 years, and maybe even longer than that, a lot of people have been fucked with by the cops. And that march changed something. I don't give a fuck what you say. Go ahead and try to argue with me in the comments. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter. What matters to me now is that these guys are starting to see what it was that we were talking about all those fucking years ago. Maybe they'll actually see that what they said was wrong. And that'll be another apology. And they'll have to fucking show that these words are sincere. I honestly hope for that. Because if this is just a blanket statement and they continue doing what they're doing, it really doesn't show a fucking thing. It doesn't mean, you know, saying I'm sorry for not marching with you won't mean anything, Paul. So that's my hopes and that's my opinion. My opinion is I'm glad that they apologized. Like the look on his face shows that he is rather sincere about the shit that he's saying. Now they just have to fucking prove it. And they've got a lot of pissed off juggalos that are fucking gonna have to change, you know, you're gonna have to change the mind of each and every single one of these motherfuckers that used to listen to you like I did. And show that your words are bond. Because they were before and you broke our hearts. If he says that he'll never do it again, you're going to have to show it. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some people that are going to make speculation on how long is this going to last. Before they can actually get back into the good graces of the Juggalo community. Because I'm looking at these guys like a fucking drug dealer just getting a random ice cream cone from somebody. I'll take it, but I'm going to be very suspicious about it. So, the way I look at it, this is a start. This is an absolute start for what's going on right now. And I'm kind of curious to see how things are going to fucking pan out. They went very fucking downhill after they declined the march. And they've got a long road ahead of them to get back in our graces. And that's it for me. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys for fucking watching this. And that's it for me. I'm out this bitch, y'all. Deuces.